I'm Jason Leary, the Ag Technology Manager at Crystal Valley. Just going to talk a little bit today about our Crystal View platform and program. So the little background on this, we've been grid sampling for a number of years, probably over 15 years now. And what we found when we started getting more into the technology, making variable rate planter prescriptions, is the soil types and the data that we had to work with wasn't accurate at the level that we wanted. Which led us to explore some different options, and we decided to go with these Veris machines to get that high resolution and accurate soil data. When we first purchased these, it was under the assumption or we were going to try and get more accurate soil texture organic matter maps for nitrogen and variable rate planter prescriptions. And what we found really quick within probably the first 6 months is the biggest ROI or the biggest driver of these machines has actually been the pH sensor. So there's a hydraulic probe on the back of these. We're collecting on average about 8 samples an acre. So we're getting about 20 times more pH samples with this than a standard 2.5 acre grid. And what we found when we started running lime recs with grid samples compared to this Crystal View program, about 75% of the time we were paying for the cost of this cart in lime savings. And it was a lot more accurate map. We're actually putting the lime where we needed to have it. And with lime being such a high volume product, the dollars add up fast. So having that accurate map is proven to be very valuable for our customers. We package this with our 2.5 acre grid because this is doing organic matter, the electroconductivity and pH, but we don't have any way of getting our P and K samples. So we're putting that with the grid samples so we can get the P and K values with that as well. So we're charging, it's about $18.75 to get the full grids and this Crystal View pass done. We're running about 45-foot passes across the field. So it's a tight, high resolution map. Retention rate, right now we've been at this about 4 years, so we haven't had anybody that's remapped. Everybody's kind of on the first turn yet. But maybe a good gauge to look at on the retention side has been, customers might try one field the first year. And after they get the results back or see the difference, the amount of acres or fields that they sign up, either that year or the following years, has drastically improved or increased as we've gone. We started out with one machine, and the following fall we had to purchase 2 more to keep up with the acres. It's a small window that we have to get the mapping done. 90% of the mapping we do is on fall bean stubble after the beans are harvested. The weather we've had and how quick this crop comes out and tillage, manure gets applied afterwards. It's a small window to try and get a lot of acres done. We've kind of plateaued a little bit now. The first year we had a lot of customers try one field. And then the second and third year, we had a lot of customers that enrolled all their bean acres each of those years. And so we've hit that first probably core group of, the early adapters, if you will. And now we're starting to, we plateaued a little bit now, still consistently new acres, but that peak volume of the new value has, I think we've already crossed that with that core customer group. And now it's new customers or, as people are getting more acres or different acres that are getting mapped now today. Nice thing with this is we're mapping soil properties with this. They don't change. It doesn't change with a rain event or year to year. So once we get that soil type mapped and we get the organic matter and the CECs defined, we can use those maps into the future. And I think, we might be, 5 years from now, we might be using these same maps for technology that's not even available today. But, compared to like a drone imagery or a yield map where we have variability year to year or week to week, everything that these machines are mapping is the base of what we're growing these crops on, and it's not going to change year to year. So getting that base soil type to start making these decisions on has been big. Nitrogen's probably been the biggest thing within the last year. We're definitely starting to do more variable rate nitrogen by organic matter, by CEC, and basing more nitrogen decisions off of what these carts are collecting. It was a very steep learning curve. Year one, you don't just put these in the ground and go. We learned very quickly, and it takes a very patient operator to be running these. It's not something you necessarily throw an intern or somebody in just whenever they have time. Patience is key. It takes, ground conditions are so different where we're running 3 sensors, so between the EC coulters, the organic matter row unit, and this pH shoe, they all have different adjustments. So each field you go to, there's different adjustments that have to be made. You might have it set perfect for one field, and you go to the next and you got to lower the pH or, you know, put more down pressure on the organic matter. So it's a very steep learning curve, and it takes, you know, to get some of these set, it takes a couple times getting out of that tractor and making sure things are working right. Modifications, the first thing we did, you know, after day one, we added cameras to see the organic matter, make sure we're staying in, that row unit's not plugged. We added a camera at the back so we can watch that pH shoe, make sure we're getting a clean sample in between every time. And then we've actually added a water jet on the back to wash the camera off because the camera was starting to get dirty. And then we've upgraded, we've put wireless transfer in the cabs so we can send files back to the office as soon as we're done. So with the fall season being short, trying to get those lime wrecks turned back as quick as we can, having that data stream real time so we can get lime wrecks back calibrated and get spread so we don't have to wait for the operator to get back at the end of the day. Then we've also added, each of these machines has a semi and a trailer with water tank and fuel on it. So they could go for, you know, 3 days, have enough water and fuel without having to go back to a location. So there's times they might just take it home at night, or, you know, if they go from field to field. Having tools and parts and everything on those trailers has been a big asset.